Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another Morning Coffee Talks. Hey, I had a wonderful meeting at Toastmasters last night. As you guys know, I still go. It's on Thursdays, all the way in Atlanta. Takes me about anywhere from like 50 minutes to an hour, 10 minutes to get there, and then about 45 minutes to get back because there's no traffic. It's not really bad. But like I said, a great meeting. And it was interesting because when we do the table topics, which is kind of the impromptu session, where it's kind of like, you doing things off the cuff, just quick on your feet, kind of like a elevator pitch type thing. But I got a very powerful question last night. And basically, the question was, what is something that you need to let go that's been hard for you to let go? Right. And I just thought it was a very profound, very powerful question. And I thought for a second, because you only get a second, right? When you get called up, it was like the time you get out your seat and the time you get to the lectern. And the way I answered it was, you know, over the last year, I've lost 80 pounds, right? And my mind state hasn't caught up with my new identity per se. And it's getting there every day by day, right? But answering the question, I was like, losing the weight was kind of the easy part. But changing the mind state, changing your mindset was the hardest part. And it's still hard because every day it's a battle with yourself. And what I mean by that is old habits, old routines, your old identity, it always seemed to creep back in, right? Always is tugging at you, it's always pulling at you. And I just feel like that is the hardest part of this journey, right? And so it brought me to today's topic, which is it's a journey, but are we still on track? Are you still on track to hit your goals this year? Because I just noticed, I'm like, man, you know what? We're halfway through the year. And are we back on track or still on track, right? With what we set out per January, right? In the beginning of the year, whatever those goals were. Again, not even a resolution, but just, hey, it's a new year. We're trying to accomplish more things this year. Because a lot of times that's a good metric, right? Now, you should be on it no matter what time of year it is. But hey, just taking that for an example, January, a lot of us set new goals, maybe renewing goals, right? So, you know, the question is, are you surviving those days, hoping something changes on its own, or are you still on track and taking advantage of being successful? And it's kind of just a mid-year check-in, right? It's kind of like being that it's the halftime of the year. I look at it like sports. Many of you guys know I play football, and football, it's halftime. It's where the coach, pull you in and asks, are we executing the game plan, right? Or you get a chance to really check, say, hey, you're making these mistakes in the game. You need to change your strategy. You need to lock in, right? And get your head back in the game because you're missing plays, you're missing tackles, you're not reading the offense, in your position. You know what I mean? So it's just as you get halfway in halftime, or basketball, the same thing, but I play both, but football is one I love. Um, you know, and so you just have to ask when you do that mid-year check-in, hey, what were my goals back in January? If it was something to do with my marriage, do I want to make my marriage better this year? Do I want to get my fitness better? My finances, my fatherhood, my faith, maybe my business, right? Have you had any small wins to celebrate? Maybe you on track, you've lost, X amount of pounds, you've made more money, right? You said, hey, I'm gonna do more date nights, more intentional things with my wife, spend more time with my kids, um, you know, just or maybe, hey, I wanted to start going back to church. You get what I'm saying? Like, are you on track? Are you hitting those small wins? Right? And if you're not, then you have to ask why. Why have I not executed from January to now, these last 6 months? Maybe I started, maybe I fell off. Are you owning that? Because we know life happens, right? But let's be real. Was it life or was it your habits, right? Was it you allowing your old routines to keep you stagnant? And I think if that is the case and you off track, then maybe some of the common pitfalls that you may be going through may be poor time management, right? Which we've went over. We've talked about this a lot. You have to book your whole day, hour by hour, right? Maybe not minute by minute, but definitely hour by hour. Maybe 30-minute increments or something like that, 15-minute increments. I don't know. I like 30-minute, hour increments. But, how's your time management? Do you have a lack of structure? Do you have goals per day, right? Do you have goals per week, per month, right? We know we had set goals for the year, right? That's what we're talking about today. We know we set goals this year, so we just halfway, so we're just doing a review. Do you have any emotional distractions, right? Is work stressing you out too much? You know, is there a lot of stuff on your plate? I have a lot of I know it was a lot of graduations this year. A lot of graduations this year. And I'm sure it is every year, but for some reason it was a lot of graduation this year. Is that something you're dealing with? Right? Did you not do the intentional things with your wife? So maybe y'all at each other's neck. Maybe you haven't had time for yourself, right? And you've been too much on social media and just not having time to do things you want to do, them emotional distractions, right? And I think with all that being said, not really having real accountability, and that starts with self, man. Like, yeah, you can. It's kind of like, yeah, I can go hire a trainer, but the trainer can only do so much, to help you get. They can just show you, hey, do these things right here, but the accountability comes on you to follow through, right? To keep showing up. So, I think this is a chance for us, because it's a few things that I missed a lot. Listen, hey, I'm shooting about 80%, 90% right now from the field. I ain't missed a lot. Trust and believe. There's a few little minute things I could be better with, but I'm not. Listen, but anyway, this your chance to recommit. Your goals without guilt. Just know where you are, know where you stand. The year's not over. Again, it's just halftime. The second half of this year can be different. But if you made it to this point and you kind of fell off, you can't do it without a strategy. Right? You have to be real with yourself. You have to ask, what needs to be eliminated. You wasting time or you making excuses. Is it something else you need to learn? What habits need to be built? Are you doing your daily planning? Right? Do you have your physical discipline? Again, as man, we have to be in the gym, man. Either you're in the gym or you're doing some really active things. When I say active things, like, are you hiking? Are you making sure you're doing daily or weekly walks, like long walks or something like that? I say the gym is just an easier format to stay consistent with, because sometimes you like, how I like hiking, but it might be raining. You might be like, man, it's raining. I don't want to be out there wet and muddy, right? It kind of gives you an excuse to kind of get out. But as man, again, we know that physical discipline, we have to be in the gym. Again, at least 3 times a week, at least, right? Are you doing a weekly check-in with your wife? Are y'all being intentional? Are you being intentional with her? You see what I'm saying? What systems do you need to have to stay focused? Maybe are you journaling? Is your calendar booked out? Do you have a workout partner? If you need somebody to kind of help you stay accountable, I don't know, right? What systems do you need to put in place for your situation? And lastly, again, listen, as men, we have to lead by example, man. Listen, trust and believe people are watching. Your wife is watching, your kids are watching, right? People you may not know, you might have told some goals to, they watching. They may not say nothing, but people are watching, man. And you got to understand where your intentions lie, right? But your actions matter more. So listen, this is second half of the year. Um, this second half, man, we got to execute. You know, we have to execute to get it done because the time gonna pass anyway, and the time is going fast as hell. So again, this the moment to reset. You don't need another motivational video. Listen, you need a decision. You know, pick that one goal, go all in this on this month. Don't wait. Say, oh, I got don't use this conversation as, oh, I got 6 months. Nah, let's do it now. And then move like a man who's serious, man, because when you move with intentions, listen, your house is gonna be in order and your house is gonna follow your lead. So what y'all think about that? Drop a comment below. Subscribe to the Husband Code. If it's your first time, if you've been watching for a while, subscribe. Also, if you got any value out of this video, hit that like button and hit the notification bell because we're going to continue to drop videos like this all the time. And until next time, I appreciate y'all. Much love. Peace.